Over 1,000 years ago, there was a wizard known as Ifagor of the Ebon Mere, and he wrote a terrible book known as the Codex Anathema. In it were his essays, notes, and arcane formulas about studying the Far Realm, and he viewed the Far Realm through this magical object known as the Ebon Mere. His final fate remains a mystery, but the Codex itself gives us a glimpse into these alien creatures from the Far Realm known as Aboleths. In this video, we're going to talk about the Far Realm and the Aboleth Elder Evils, but first, this video is sponsored by HeroForge. HeroForge is an incredible tool to craft custom miniatures for your RPG characters. They have expanded from just fantasy into sci-fi, with science-y and alien models available, and I just discovered the power armor option, and it's pretty amazing. Multiple poses available, customized limbs and facial expressions, and color options let you customize your character even further. If you own a 3D printer, you can purchase the STL file for your design, or you could buy the mini from them and they'll ship it to you. Available in plastic, premium plastic, color plastic, and bronze. Check out HeroForge today by visiting their website, heroforge.com, or clicking on the link in the description. Thanks again, HeroForge. Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent. Now, the Far Realm is a tricky place and brings about only confusion and death. The beings of the Far Realm keep their secrets, and it may be impossible for outsiders to truly understand it. We're going to talk about the Elder Evils again, but this time referring to the major Aboleths of Dungeons & Dragons. Now, if you'd like to follow along at home, I have pulled most of the information for this video from a 3rd edition D&D sourcebook called Lords of Madness, the Book of Aberrations. So let's dive in. Now, Aboleths are aberrations, so let's talk about what that means. Aberrations are alien creatures in the sense that they are not native to the fantasy adventuring planets of Dungeons & Dragons. The term aberration is kind of a loose one. An aberration could be a magical experiment gone wrong, or a group of humans that evolved differently in an alternate timeline and have somehow made their way to our reality, complete with webbed feet and tentacle arms. In my experience, though, when one thinks of an aberration, they think of creatures from the Far Realm. The Far Realm is mysterious, or rather unknowable. Although creatures like Aboleths who are aberrations come from the Far Realm, there are plenty of them that have lived their entire existence within the prime material plane. Now, there are aberrations in the Forgotten Realms, and they have made homes in the plane of Pandemonium or the Nine Hells. Aboleths are the only creatures that could potentially go to the Far Realm and return. And some believe the Far Realm represents the edge of creation. In an expanding universe, I like to think of the Far Realm as potential matter, a weird representation of what could be or of probability. Time and space would be different in the Far Realm, they wouldn't have meaning, and what lies beyond what lies in the Far Realm wouldn't have meaning in our reality. It couldn't exist in the same way it does here, which makes me think that a lot of aberrations aren't hideous tentacled monsters, but rather they appear that way. When looking at an Aboleth, for example, our brain is trying to interpret something impossible, something we can't fathom. And as humans, we've never seen into the 5th dimension, and your brain wouldn't understand these new senses, and thus we see a tentacled monster. Now, this would also explain why most people have gone mad when studying the Far Realm. It can't be understood with your brain in its current 3-dimensional physics. If you do end up understanding the Far Realm, you might not be able to understand the reality you once knew. Having a foot in both worlds would surely kill you sooner or later. But that's just my theory. Aberrations are spawned from the infinite madness that is the Far Realm, and somehow they have found their way into the planes of existence of gods and mortals. One does not simply study aberrations. To learn their language, behaviors, or magic is to absorb concepts that are not normal to a human brain. It becomes impossible to set them aside later on and think normal again. It is an interesting idea to use in a game, that a language or an idea could almost act as a virus and destroy someone simply from knowing too much. This is an Elder Evil video, so let's get to the Aboleth Elder Evils. Now, these are the big Aboleths that could be interpreted as the gods of the Aboleths. Aboleths do not worship deities, they do acknowledge their existence and power, but they do not believe that the gods are infallible, nor all-powerful. Their very existence proves this. At least from their perspective. If the gods truly could protect mankind, then why would an Aboleth be able to devour mankind? Now, also, Aboleths, with their collective knowledge and ancient existence, know of creatures that existed before the gods. And specifically, those are known as the Elder Evils. Now, these evils are alien forms of deconstruction to us, but they're praised by Aboleths. Aboleths lack a concept of faith, but they do understand the concept of respect, and they respect power. Now, from an outside perspective, the respect that Aboleths give to Elder Evils could be interpreted as worship. For instance, in Aboleth cities, there are statues or specific pieces of architecture crafted to honor the Elder Evils. It is unknown how many Elder Evils exist. A potential limitless amount of these beings could be found within the Far Realm, for all we know. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about the Big Five. The 5 Elder Evils that the Aboleths seem to honor above all others. These Elder Evils have found their way into the Prime Material Plane, and for them to take an interest in the Material Plane is cause enough for a statue or two in an Aboleth city. Now, something that I really enjoyed about the Lords of Madness, the supplement explaining the Elder Evils, is it recommended that you create your own and try to keep them as abstract concepts. The more you define an Elder Evil, the less scary they become. Now, if they stay as a power or an unknowable force, the concept of where to stab it to kill it becomes scary, because you don't know anything about this creature. And once you give any creature within D&D hit points and an armor class, you've created a situation where your players could potentially destroy it. Now, for a campaign, think about using an Elder Evil as a plot. You can't destroy the Queen of Chaos, but you can stop her lieutenant, Miska the Wolf Spider, preventing the Queen from having the resources or the encouragement to destroy the Prime Material Plane. Now, the first Aboleth Elder Evil is Bolthamog, or Him Who Watches from Beyond the Stars. Now, Bolthamog is more of a force or an idea than a physical thing. It is said to be the darkness that exists between stars, possibly the nothingness that is most of the universe. Now, Aboleths honor Bolthamog in the architecture of their cities by creating large gaps and empty sections of buildings. It's hard to put a face to this one, but I like the idea of a warlock gaining power from the in-between, the underside of a table, the crack in a wall, the darkness between the stars. That could be fun. Halashaner is next and is known as the Hunger Below. Halashaner exists in the physical world and appears to us as a squid centipede creature. Now, the Hunger Below exists below the surface of the world, burrowing throughout the Underdark, eating everything in its path. Stone, magma, creatures, anything. Like an earthworm or a maggot devouring a still living planet. It leaves behind a black bile that is extremely explosive when exposed to air. However, in a few months, one can compress that bile down and make an obsidian-like material called bilestone. And I couldn't find any information on what people do with bilestone, but I like the idea of exploding arrowheads. Aboleths will use bilestone in their cities to honor Halashaner, as well as the inclusion of spindly protrusions on buildings. Piscaith says the Blood Queen is said to be the source of the Aboleth race. Now, she flies through an infinite amount of realities, changing direction and navigating the sea of probability. Whenever and wherever she goes, she leaves her spawn. Now, the Aboleths of the Forgotten Realms believe they are her children. She looks much like a regular Aboleth, but without tentacles and has a blood-red mucus covering her body. Now, no Aboleth seriously expects her to return to Toril, but there is a small hope that she will. If she does, it is said to prove a theory about the Far Realm, that it's a circular ring. It would prove that as she navigates infinity, she'll ultimately wind up where she started. Shotho Tug, the Eater of Worlds, this Elder Evil also exists within the Prime Material Plane. The Eater of Worlds lives somewhere in the multiverse, but a place far, far away. A distant crystal sphere, or maybe navigating the phlogiston at will. It looks like a large mountain-sized sphere of moving liquid. Rumor is Xothotug moves from world to world, destroying them in his wake. The fluidic body of this elder evil poisons worlds. And there's also mention of a parasitic quality Xothotug inflicts on a planet. Once destroyed, there is a shift in the balance of fundamental forces that exist on the prime material plane. The Aboleths honor the Eater of Worlds by placing pools or fountains that have a dark, brackish-colored liquid. Finally, Yachak, the Violet Flame. Many of the prior Elder Evils can be seen on a malevolent cosmic force. Yachak is unique because this Elder Evil has intention and motives that direct it. Now, the Violet Flame is actively interested in the destruction of life and acts as a muse to beings that seek destructive and ruinous ends. Yachak whispers to creatures that cause death, chaos, and harm. The deities of war, cruelty, death, they all potentially went down their evil path because of Yachak. The entity nurtured the idea that grew to become a god. Now, when appearing to others, say in dreams or nightmares, Yachak can be seen as a pillar of violet flame burning high. The flame hides something beneath, hidden on purpose to protect fragile minds. Now, under the flame is something so horrifying to see, it would begin the destruction of your soul. Now, many of these are based on H.P. Lovecraft's writing. In fact, in the book Lords of Madness, they discuss that the 5 Aboleth Elder Evils are direct representations of Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. Bolthamog is Yog-Sothoth. Halashaner is Tsath-Ogua. Piscathis is Cthulhu. Xothotug is Zathoth. And Yachak is Hastur. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, patrons, and thanks again, HeroForge, for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out their website, link in the description. Now, I have more videos on the way. I enjoy reading all of your comments, so thank you so much for leaving them, and I will see you guys all in the next video.